the 8 keys that every person needs to reach the health that they deserve and the life that they want. Do you think it happens randomly? It does not happen randomly. It is very calculated. It just so happens that some people come from families that have more of these habits in place and others that don't. But no matter what is thrown at you from life, you go ahead, bro. No matter what life brings you, the goal is still to be the healthiest version of yourself. So no matter what condition you go through, there's still 2 people that go through that condition. One has good habits and gets the most out of themselves and minimizes what they go through in life. And the other person multiplies the problems that they go through in life because they have bad habits on top of bad luck. And that's a bad combination, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at things. We're going to look at what is causing people to be in nursing homes, what is causing people to lose their health, because we can have all the philosophies in the world, but at the end of the day, we already have living examples of the things that go wrong. So why not make sure that we're getting them right before they go wrong for us? Because nobody is immune to the laws of health, okay? So there's 8 keys. So let's take the white piece of paper and turn it over.
Leave that pen down.
Oh, okay. We're flexible. Can I get a pen and a white piece of paper?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
There you go. Something that is a white space. So we're going to fill this in and give you an opportunity to put in one thing for yourself. Thank you. Okay. All right. So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to do the bad stuff first, or do you want to do the good stuff first?
Might as well do the bad stuff, because it's
I-
going to be all of my
I'm with you.
habits.
I'm with you.
Just saying.
All right. So this is called the health equation, and all these keys flow into the health equation. The more of the good and the less of the bad, the bigger this gap is the healthier and more active your life is. The smaller this gap, the less health you have and the less of your potential that you reach. If this goes the other way and the bad side becomes bad, that's how fast your health is declining, you're accelerating, you're aging, and you're making yourself more susceptible to disease. We're talking about all the things that we control. So no matter what situation you go through, these laws apply to everyone, okay? Because these are the laws that you get to control every day with your habits. So the bad side. The bad side is mental, physical, and chemical stresses, all right? Now, stress can be good, like in the form of exercise, but if you exercise with bad form, you can injure a muscle. So there's some stresses that are good, but we're trying to reduce negative, unnecessary stresses, because a lot of things are for our growth, right? We go through things physically to stress to grow muscles. Sometimes we have to go through mental things to increase our faith. Sometimes we go through negative things to increase our positivity. So stress can be used, but we want to use it to our advantage. So here's how it works. Mental, physical, chemical stress is over here. This is the air we breathe, the food we eat, things like that. The mental stress is how much worry do we add to a worry, right? Is it justified? Is it not justified? Because whatever our brain does, or whatever we feed our brain, it doesn't only feed our brain, it feeds our unconscious mind. And the unconscious mind and our brains are succeed machines. It will succeed at whatever you talk to it and tell it at all times. And if you're telling it to worry, the whole system's going to worry. And that leads to inflammation, arthritis, Alzheimer's, degeneration, disease. Any disease that comes along with inflammation, we can contribute to that with our mental, physical, and chemical stresses. So what we want to do with these is not just leave them down here. I want to see how low we can push down mental, physical, and chemical stress. Not only so that we have as little negative in our life as possible, but how can we flip it to our advantage? And that's the one book I have is called Winning Moments. So it's taking all the things in our life that are causing us stress and learning how to repurpose them to build health. That's going to keep our mental, physical, and chemical stresses as low as possible. So if the one side, just put on the bottom of the page, mental, physical, and chemical stress, if you want to organize it that way, however you like to. So just put that on the one side, and you could put your one thing that you're going to change in that area. Because any one thing you change is going to have an incredible impact on your life. It's going to be what you teach your kids. It's going to be what your friends see. It's going to be what your family sees. And that's going to get passed on as your health legacy to the next generation. So that's a good category to at least have one thing you want to do in that area. If you need any details, you can talk to us later about it. We just have so much to cover that right now, if you just find one thing, you're going to be winning in one of those areas. All right, ready for the good side? All right, the good side is life force, the power that made you, heals you and repairs you, and meets the needs of every cell at every moment. There's no doctor that can do what your nervous system does. There's no anything in the world that can do what your nervous system does. Old cells are dying off, new ones are being replaced. Whatever habits you have when that new cell is built, that determines if your health is improving. If you have bad habits when that new cell is built, that's what lets you know that your health is declining. This is how it works, whether you look at a Harvard medical book or a 5th grade anatomy book, it's the same rules the whole way through the system, okay? So life force, how the brain and nerves bring life to the body. Guess what that goes through? Your spine, right? So here's how you contribute, and there's a number of ways you contribute to your brain and nervous system, but one of the ways you physically contribute to your brain and nervous system is by keeping your spine healthy. The clearer that pathway, the more life you have in your body, the more life you'll have in your body, the more life you'll have outside of your body. Okay, the more healthy, the more active you'll be, the better you'll be able to fight disease, the better you'll be able to fight cancer. The nervous system does it all, right? Good one? All right, so keeping the spine healthy is probably our number one priority. Why do you think people end up in nursing homes? Is it muscle problems or joint problems? Joint problems. What do we take care of most of our lives, muscles or joints?
Muscles.
Muscles, right? We go to gyms, we stretch, we do all these things, but we never have a joint focus. And that's why when people come in here, their spine's already suffering for 20 or 30 years, their hips are already suffering, and their knees are already suffering. Now, muscles are still important to me. I love muscles. However, if you don't have a joint priority, you're going to lose out on the life to the body, and then you're going to lose out on mobility of the joints, then you're going to get arthritis, and then no matter how good you're eating, how good you're exercising, or how good you're doing anything, you're going to be suffering so much that you can't do anything. And that's what happens to people who don't have a joint focus throughout their life. So life force through joint health, okay? Next one is movement. Movement is the number one fuel source for the brain. That's why I can close my eyes and know what each finger's doing, because my brain is connected to every joint. So when I move my body, I'm not only doing it for my heart and my lungs, I'm strengthening those pathways to my brain. Movement is the fastest way to shut off the stress response. It is easier to move your way out of stress than it is to worry your way out of stress. Anybody ever take a walk and the stress goes away a little bit pretty quickly? Right? Does anybody experience that? It's proof. It'll happen every time you do it. Whether you feel like walking or not, it will decrease when you move your body. So movement's important for brain, movement's important for body, movement's important for strength, for bone density, all those things. Next one is intake. So we're on the good side. So far we have life, movement, intake. Intake is the water we choose, the foods we choose, the air we breathe, all those different things go in to make up what our body makes up. And if we make it and feed it the wrong thing, that creates a physiology in our body that causes inflammation and acidity. Inflammation and acidity and different problems like that are almost the cause of 80% of chronic diseases. So a lot of us are eating our problems years before we get them. So that's one category that everybody needs to be aware of. It's a key. It has to happen. You can't have health without it. No matter how long we think we're getting away with donuts, eventually donuts catch up. All right? Because it's never one. It's usually too many over too much time. And that's what ends up happening. A lot of our problems, we don't see them as they're happening to us. So we think we're getting away with something. But if you check into the future and you see what happens to other people, you'll always be a better version of yourself when you have healthy food and healthy water. Water is also something you have to keep track of. Maybe even use filters. The way they clean the water and the infrastructure underneath, you're not always, just because you're drinking water doesn't mean you're always getting the health benefits of water. So I guess I'll put a little asterisk here is, a lot of things are good for us, but we still have to go that one step further to make sure that we're getting what we're being sold, right? So when you go to a store and you think it's great to eat fruits and vegetables, but they're sprayed with pesticides and farmed wrong and brought to your table wrong and cause inflammation and problems in your body, you tried to do what's right, but you just needed to go that one extra step to make sure that not only are you eating good foods, but it's coming from a good place. So I can help you with that too, if you'd like. So where are we at now? We did intake, life, we did movement, rest. All you have to do is type in benefits of rest, anything from less heart problems, less strokes, better rest, more energy, bone density. It's off the chart to get the proper amount of rest. And a good quality of rest too. So rest doesn't even include your sleep time. It includes a little bit before sleep time too. So that could include writing out your schedule for the next day so you're not going to bed trying to remember it and make sure you don't forget something. Be careful of what you watch on TV before you go to sleep. Remember, you're feeding your most powerful mind, your unconscious mind. And if you don't feed it what it wants, it's going to take it through the night and become good at it. So make sure that you're being careful the 15 minutes before you go to bed too, or as much as you can. And it's good to start your day off with positivity in the morning too. So rest will lead right into positivity. So positivity is, there's two people, they can go through a similar situation. One person, it's the catapult that turns them into a world mission and doing wonderful things. And the other person it crushes and they can never get under that weight from in their life. They're very similar situations and nobody's to judge how things work and everybody needs help mentally, physically, and spiritually to work through things. We're a lot or as much or more of a thinking, feeling being than we are of physical tissue. And a lot of our emotions and our positivity and negativity are going to have an impact on everything we do. So the more you can see things as happening for you and not to you, and the things that you could see as being on the way to where you want to go and not in the way of where you want to go, and the more you're able to turn those situations and be repetitive about the good, no matter how ingrained the bad is, your health will improve every single time. All these things we went around, you probably won't hear anywhere else, so I hope you have a good memory. Everywhere else is going to sell you how to treat symptoms. We're going to teach you how to get healthy. This is available for you. This is available for your family. This system works. This program works. It's centuries old. If you go through, people were doing this all through time. How they eat affected their health. How they moved affected their health. What they did affected their health. So, these aren't new concepts. Chiropractors have mastered on how to apply them. And every time we have, for over 100 years, we've had people who had amazing results, #1 non-drug form of healthcare, and that's just for pain. That's not for taking people out of pain into that next level, which we do that too. So that's available to you as well.